Hello people, just a quick video. I just want to do this to help people understand some of the meanings that are apparent and not apparent when you're reading a letter. Now I've got a good letter here that was put on Twitter by Piers Morgan. That's how I came across it. So we're going to use it, and it's from none other than the Queen herself. Hurrah! So it was an important address, and it's really interesting to go through this letter from someone who you'd presume would have a very good education, a sound understanding of Latin, and would obviously be in a position where they have to choose their words very carefully, being the head of the state, head of the nation. So let me just get the clip up. You can see the image in front of you. This is what was released by Buckingham Palace. And this was done for the Queen's official birthday. This is the Queen becoming the Queen birthday. So it's as Elizabeth essentially becoming the Queen. And obviously this is around the time of various terrorist attacks. And I think even just less than a week before was the Grenfell Tower fire, which was pretty about as tragic as things can get. So in the light of all that, the Queen addresses the nation on her official birthday. So the idea of this is that we're going to read it. I'd like you to read it. First, I'll read it to you, and then after I've read it to you, good idea to pause the video and just get a piece of paper and honestly write down what you think each paragraph. There's only 3 paragraphs. This is why it's such a good little exercise. There's 3 paragraphs. Just write down what you think each one means, each paragraph. That paragraph basically means it's going on about this. This paragraph is going on about that, and the final paragraph is going on about this. And then I'll after you've had the pause and you come back and listen to my audio, I'm hoping that I'll dissect it, if you like, in my own way, and see if what you wrote corresponds with anything that I wrote, or I'll explain to you. And yeah, hopefully you might learn something, or if you want to teach me something, obviously you can't speak back to me, but you can leave comments in the section below and put in your own input, because obviously this is all an opinion. It's all subject to our understanding of language and words and usage. So yeah, feedback is always appreciated, but I'm pretty confident you're going to be pleasantly surprised once I go through it with you. So let me read it out first of all. Enough banter. So today is traditionally a day of celebration. This year, however, it is difficult to escape the very somber national mood. In recent months, the country has witnessed a succession of terrible tragedies. As a nation, we continue to reflect and pray for all those who have been directly affected by these events. During recent visits in Manchester and London, I have been profoundly struck by the immediate inclination of people throughout the country to offer comfort and support to those in desperate need. Put to the test, the United Kingdom has been resolute in the face of adversity. United in our sadness, we are equally determined, without fear or favour, to support all those rebuilding lives so horribly affected by injury and loss. Elizabeth R. Okay, so pause the video now. Put your answers on a bit of paper, all 3 paragraphs, and then unpause the video and I will be back. Okay, here I am. I hope that wasn't too difficult for you. So the most important paragraph for me is the last paragraph, so I will slightly skip over the first 2, as they're more setting the scene. And the last paragraph I'll spend a lot of time on. So today is a traditional day of celebration. Okay, we get that. This year has escaped the very somber national mood. So she's used the word national mood there. National, the nation. In recent months, the country. Hang on, she's gone from country to nation. Now there's an interesting change. So she's gone from the nation would be England, and the country is obviously England. Now the nation would be what she's in charge of. She's the head of the nation, and the country is obviously England. The witness has witnessed, so witnessed is like a very important word, because only people can really be witnesses, especially in a court setting. And the only way that a witness can give any evidence that the court will recognise is to actually be sworn in. And sworn in to tell the truth of the matter, yeah? So that's an important use of the word witness there. Succession of terrible tragedies. Can't deny that. As a nation, so she's talking as the head of a nation, as a nation of people. Now people, the nation consists of obviously the head of state, which would be the Queen, the people, which sometimes is also referred to as the land. Okay, so you've got the nation, the people, and the land. The land and the people are one. The Queen acts at the pleasure of her people, yeah? We continue to reflect and pray for those who have been directly affected by these events. Profoundly struck by the immediate inclination. Now, inclination is an interesting word because it's like an incline. So it's a leaning, like, oh, this hill has a steep incline. Or what's your inclination? I'm inclined to drink beer, or I'm inclined to do whatever pleases you, basically. So the immediate inclination, the immediate leaning of people again, is the people of the land, of the nation, of the country, throughout the country, to offer comfort and support to those in desperate need. Need's an important word because you've got wants and needs. Now, I want a Ferrari, but I need a car. Okay, so if you don't know the difference between want and need, I want a Ferrari, but I need a car to get to A to B. All right, so that's the difference. So literally, I'll take any old piece of crap as long as I can go from A to B. All right, now these people are in need because obviously, well, it turns out not many people survived, and those that did survive, obviously, hopefully, have been taken care of. But many people died in Grenfell Tower and also in the terrorist attacks, which shouldn't be overlooked. So obviously, people are in need of help, support, comfort. And obviously, there's a massive outpouring of donations and volunteers that did come out. So the Queen's saying that was awesome. Obviously, without using the word awesome. Put to the test the United Kingdom. Now, this is where I want to come back in. So she's gone from nation to country, yeah, to people, and now she's talking about something called the United Kingdom in capitalized U and a capitalized K. You notice that nation doesn't have that. And country doesn't have that, but the United Kingdom does, because it's not, strictly speaking, the Queen's domain. I mean, it is, but it's its own thing. The United Kingdom is its own thing. Okay, it's a legal entity that unites the Kingdom of England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland into a corporate body, and that corporate body is the Queen's government, which acts on the behalf of the people, apparently. So put to the test, the United Kingdom has been resolute in the face of adversity. Now, resolute's an important word. Initially, you might have read that sentence and thought, oh, yeah, resolute. They've been really, you probably think, you've been led down the path to think that it means like we've been strong, we've been good, we've been united, we've been unbreaking, we've been, together, as a United Kingdom, we're awesome. But that's not how I read it, and I'll explain why. It's put to the test, right? The United Kingdom, as in this legal entity put together to keep the empire and the realm and the nation and the country all tickety-boo and administrated efficiently, has been resolute. If you look up the word resolute actually is I think it's a Latin-based word, resolute. So you can kind of put on your Italian accent, you can kind of pick up when you see a Latin word. Now this word resolute actually means to fall apart, to break to pieces. So put to the test, United Kingdom has been falling to pieces in the face of adversity. United. Now she's repeated the word united, but she started it at the front of the sentence. So the capitalization here, the united in our sadness, and sadness is like sad on its own is a terrible word. It has poor etymology. It just means apparently it comes from a word meaning full, like a container is full. Yeah, so it has to be used in context of a vessel, if you like. So united in our sadness, we are equally determined without fear or favour to support those who have been their lives so horribly affected. Now there's two elements to this sentence. One is fear and favour, and the second element is injury and loss. All right. So fear and favour is there's two elements to it. There's fear and favour is a reference to the judiciary, where the judges, and this is obviously harks back to the Bible and the way that judges are supposed to act in terms of making judgments or rendering judgments on people without fear or favour. So it doesn't matter who you are. Favour's like you not preferring, like, I don't know, even the Queen, for example, against a peasant. If the Queen's done wrong to a peasant, then sorry, the statuses of you people, the personas, doesn't matter. You are man on man. You're one versus one, and you're going to receive judgment equally. So that's without fear or favour. And also, a judiciary should be without fear. They should be able to make their judgments or rulings without any kind of recourse to being, beaten up, attacked, or anything. So that's fear or favour from the judiciary's point of view. then there's fear and favour from the other point of view, which is kind of reinforcing the Declaration of Rights and various other documents, depending on where you are in the Commonwealth or former Commonwealth to our American friends. So so fear and favour is basically the right to petition the Queen. So it was put in the Declaration that a subject of Her Majesty is able to petition the Queen without fear of being, going to the Queen of Hearts Court, as in on Alice in Wonderland, and having the head off with their head. I'm just, a subject should be able to approach the Queen with a grievance and say, look, this is what's happened. It's pissed me off, or it's a wrong. More importantly, it's a wrong, and it needs to be addressed. So fear and favour has two elements to it. And then the other thing is injury and loss. Now, this is where it comes to the law, and every free man on the land would tell you, there's plenty of YouTube videos about this, about the three acronyms of law is like injury, harm, and loss. Yeah. So you've got injury, harm, and loss, and the other thing which is often overlooked is the contract element, which is do what you do when you say you're going to do it. So if you give someone your word or pledge or promise or whatever, an agreement, you must uphold that agreement, otherwise you're being dishonourable. So yeah, injury and loss. Now, injury, harm, and loss. So harm is not mentioned here; it's just injury and loss. But that's done quite cleverly, because harm and injury, the way that I've studied these two things, is that injury is what I view as an accident that caused harm, whereas harm is like a premeditated planning to do harm. So if I murder you, I've caused you, or let's say I've attacked you, or some sort of knife attack or something, or I've planned to meet you outside your work and stab someone. So that's premeditated. So that's causing harm. You've deliberately intended to cause someone harm. Whereas an injury is that, you could be driving down the street, no fault of your own, a kid runs out to the street and you've hit a kid, you've had an accident, you've caused the kid an injury, but in no way were you intending to hit someone in your car. Okay, so in this case, and then obviously loss is loss of property damage, like monetary loss of property, or some sort of, in a fire, for example, you can imagine they've lost everything, so that's the loss that requires remedy. So an injury, wise, it's specifically relating to an accident. Now, this is an accident. Let's specifically talk about like the Grenfell fire now. So an accident in that respect is that numerous government failings have caused this accident to happen. Now, in no way is anyone really going to be done for starting the fire, and good luck trying to prove that it was deliberately started on purpose. I mean, apparently a fridge freezer or something exploded and has just ignited a flat, and the flat at the bottom, fourth floor or something like that, has just caused a fire. Now, what has happened is that fire has now caused a huge inferno because of what's apparently is the cladding, or the material in particular that the cladding's being made out of. So no one ever planned to kill anyone, but injury has happened nonetheless. Okay? So that's basically what the Queen is addressing there, is that injury and loss. So obviously people have been injured, and that includes death. Of course, you can kill people by accident. There are reasons that has happened, whether planned or unplanned, but in this case it's obviously unplanned. No one is ever suggesting that anyone has gone out of their way to kill people. But that's basically why the last paragraph is so important for me. It's that it covers like the United Kingdom and its legal status falling to pieces, and she's used the we there, united on a sadness, we are equally determined. Now this is again the royal we, the head of state, and we the nation. Yeah. Fear and favour, injury and loss. So there's a hell of a lot going on in that last paragraph that I'm reading, that perhaps I'm hoping that you missed. And if you take a second look at it, just study each word individually, especially the words that are unfamiliar to you, which aren't normally used in common day parlance. Would be good just to go over that. But that's just a little introduction to how you can read documents in their fullest, so you gain a better understanding of how the true meaning of what's going on now. It's not true meaning, it's the actual meaning that you may have actually missed. And that's basically a little introduction to this very, very crucial document put out there by Elizabeth Regina. Who knows? Turns out she's a caring monarch after all.